it's the next level.
And a big welcome home to my favorite son. I made some chicken, but I also heated up some authentic German bratwurst, flown in special today, just for you.
I had a pretty interesting day.
Sorry I'm late. Honest to God, a dragon was attacking Hong Kong. I stopped it.
Ooh, a dragon, nice. Mark was getting ready to tell us how interesting his day was.
Guess who's finally getting his powers?
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. Threw a trash bag into space at work.
Oh, that's great. Son, just great. If you're up for it, I'll make some time tomorrow for training.
This is so exciting.
Bright and early tomorrow, Mark. Make sure you get a good night's sleep.
For sure.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Jamie.
And, well, this week, Jamie and I will be covering, and this will be a spoiler-full podcast about the first 4 episodes of Amazon Prime's The Show, Invincible. And this will just be an overall thought and top 5s of the first 4 episodes that we've watched so far, because if we actually went in depth for every episode, we'll be here for 5 hours. So we're not going to do that.
Nobody wants to hear us for 5 hours.
No. So next week we will just concentrate on episode 5 and just, give our overall thoughts, our top 5s within that. But in this case, we're just going to give a brief overview of all 4 and what our thoughts per episode, like particular parts that we liked, certain quotes, certain little things that, characters, things that we've encountered as we get to know these characters within this series. So to give the, synopsis of this, well, basically Invincible was a comic book that was created by Robert Kirkman, and through TV podcast industries, Derek, who we know is a good friend. Yeah, we all love Derek, and he basically looked into it, and I didn't even know this. I didn't realize this, that Invincible came out before Walking Dead.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, because I remember early on in The Walking Dead, or that Kirkman had said he didn't think The Walking Dead was going to make it because all of his comics had been canceled. So I didn't realize Invincible was there because I thought that everything was canceled before The Walking Dead.
No, apparently that was his first venture, and it went long. It went very long as far as how many issues, and they ended it before Walking Dead. I actually picked up the last 5 issues, and I think I only read the first 10 at most, but basically, if you guys are not familiar with it and you're just watching the show to give you an idea, so the synopsis that is portrayed or given out within Google, well, Mark Grayson, played by Steven Yeun, is a 17-year-old fledgling superhero who's been looking forward to gaining the same kind of powers as his father, who is Omni-Man, played by J.K. Simmons. But Mark is a bit of a late bloomer, as we all see. One day, however, his super strength, power of flight, and super speed manifest in an unexpected way, and that means his training with Dad can finally ensue. So he's been prepping all this time. But it's tough being a newly minted superhero, and as Mark soon finds out, it also changes his relationship with his father. There's also a very real threat of losing his dad to one of many evildoers who threaten the city. When Omni-Man is found in terrible condition alongside the Guardians of the Globe, Mark losing his father feels real, and so does his future in fighting crime. So how will he reconcile becoming a hero with the dangers that accompany it? That's something he'll have to figure out on his own. Which is pretty brief, not really catered to the actual show as we see and we watch these episodes. Nothing really happened to Omni-Man, but it's what Omni-Man did.
Yeah. Well, he did get hurt. He was in the hospital.
He did get hurt, yeah. Yeah, the Guardians of the Globe did really give a bashing before they lost their lives, but it's a lot of intrigue within it, and as we could see, and if you listeners have watched it, and I'm sure you have, you actually saw Omni-Man just destroy the Guardians of the Globe and in the end get hurt. And then there's an investigation, and it's weird. This is like a weird NCIS kind of show, and has its own little things. It's just as extreme, but in an anime form, very similar to like The Boys, as we've covered on this podcast for a while, and we just enjoy those. But to me, if they actually did a live action of this, I think the budget would be like through the roof.
Yeah, I like this as a comic. I think it works really well as a comic.
Yeah,
I don't think live action would be worth
too.
it. And
Yeah, live action we wouldn't be getting as much as we did if you look at the Flaxans and the Martians and going to different worlds and
yeah,
how they would have it. And then they would have to get all the super suits.
well, and
So,
the
Jamie, what
violence
was your...
too. The violence
Yeah.
wouldn't be quite as good.
Yeah, what were your initial thoughts of the show in comparison?
I read the comic. Well, I read the first volume of the comic forever ago, and mostly forgot about it. I didn't like the way the artwork was in the comic, so I couldn't really get into it. I just couldn't get past the drawing. It just wasn't a style that I vibed with. So watching the first episode, I'm like, oh, this is a cute, father-son story. Like, I texted my friend. I'm like, hey, you should watch this with your son. And then I got to the end of the subject. I'm like, no, don't watch it with your son.
Yes, because this show is definitely adult-oriented. It's an anime for adults if you think about it. Back in the early days, in like the early 80s, they would have manga kind of anime that would be out that you'd get in your local VHS shop to rent, of all things, right? I did that. I wound up renting a bunch of those and not realizing it. And that was before Akira and all that got even super vicious. But those animes were vicious. But now, this is like an American version of Akira, if you think about it. But in this case, it's superheroes. Very similar to like the Justice League on acid, where they kill each other. And a lot of the characters do remind me of the Justice League in the very beginning, the first episode.
The Batman character?
Oh, the Batman character, the Flash, and the Martian, who's a Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, they were definitely inspired.
Oh, definitely. Or at least influenced to that way. But as Kirkman does, he just gets rid of them right away. And I do believe that Robert Kirkman actually wrote the first episode of this series on Amazon. So that was pretty cool, that what we got out of that particular episode. To me, it was like, oh, we just jump right into this. I don't get a backstory. I don't understand. Mind you, I did read, but that was a long time ago and I couldn't remember. And I'm like, wow, we just jump right into it and we get a weird story. But I guess they assume since we've watched all these superhero shows or live actions now that we're getting used to this, so we just jump into it. So with that, we're going to move into our top fives, which will be our highlights of within the first four overall of Invincible. So what's your number 5, Jamie?
My number 5 was going to Mars. Because I love space and Mars, and I was like, oh, I have 2 weeks to go to Mars? Heck yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, right.
But then finding not only one species of alien there, but finding 2 was, I thought, really cool.
Yeah, it seemed like the Martians were the good guys. They were trying to protect everybody else from those little organisms that were there that will take over, kind of like an alien. If you think about it, Alien from like Sigourney Weaver, they were going to take over and just assimilate, or maybe even the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
Where they could just take over a world, and that's what they were trying to prevent. And apparently, Mark is invincible, and he can't be, taken with this. And the astronauts that he saves, one of them at the very end we do see is infected.
Yeah.
So that to me, that was
or sequence. That's what they were called.
Sequins, but they do look like sea squids. You would love that too,
right,
for what you do. Well, my number 5 would be the Flaxans. I thought that was very interesting how, they were trying to invade and they get older. They die quicker because of the atmosphere. And then the second time they adapt and they have watches and they wind up taking, robot finds some sort of flaw and they were able to take care of that. And then by the third time, Omni-Man comes in and just takes them to their own world and just beats the living crap out of their world. But my question is, what are the Flaxons? We never got that history, so I'm curious if we'll ever get that information, And at least, like I said, at least Omni-Man got rid of them. And we got them in episode 4. And as I recall, one of the Guardians was a Martian, too. When you brought up the Martians, that was something cool and I found interesting. Because I'm like, wait a minute. We get to Mars, we see the astronauts there, and then we do see... And I'm like, wait a minute. One of them died in the first episode.
How do we not know what's there?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, how did they not know that they had Martians? Like, the government didn't tell these astronauts, hey, hello. Yeah. By the way, one of them was a Guardians of the Globe. He's dead now, but we're going there.
We're just going to pick up some rocks. Don't worry about finding anybody.
Exactly. All right. So what was your number 4?
Number 4 was kind of the weird way that world works. So, I mean, there's obviously tons of superheroes in that world.
Yeah.
But outside of the actual superheroes, nobody seems quite sure how to deal with them. Like taking the astronauts to space in a spaceship when, you know what, you could send Omni-Man to go get some rocks and bring them back. And not spend all the money on NASA or, there's any of the, the dragon in Italy or the cops going after like the guys robbing the bank with the super, like, why are the cops even bothering? Like, they know they're just cops.
They're gonna die anyway.
Right. Like, all you're doing is causing more damage.
I think Omni-Man, with that whole situation, it was a way to get his wife to say, I trust you. And that was that whole thing, because with Darkblood coming to the house, coming in, investigating the situation, and always pointing at him. Obviously, it is him, but whether or not he's aware or conscious of it, or maybe there's some sort of ulterior motive, and I'll get into that later, but it was his way, and he goes, oh, they could deal with this. And I'm like, I'm on vacation. I'm on a date with my wife. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're the most powerful man in the world. You're just going to let this go. Kind of wild.
Yeah.
That shows you how strange this show is.
But yeah, like, it kept cracking me up because I'm like, why do the cops even bother? Like, just have the cops get the people out of the way and let the superheroes take care of the superheroes and the kaiju and whatever.
Exactly. Well, my number 4, that would be the tryouts of the new Guardians of the Globe. We get Monster Girl and Rex in that scene where she beats him up.
That was awesome because he deserved it.
He did. He did. We find out she ages down for every time she uses her powers. And at one point was Monster Lady. And her real age is in her mid to late 20s.
She's at 26.
Yeah. And the fact is it's like Rex is that typical perv. He's your typical guy that he thinks he's hot shit and hot stuff and can do whatever he wants, and then basically breaks girls' hearts and women's hearts, whether they are superheroes or not. But I guess he's the bad guy that every girl is attracted to.
No, I'm too old to be attracted to that kind of guy at this
point. but I'm just saying, it's the cliche of that, that they throw in there. He already ruined with Atom Eve at one point because of what he was doing. He was cheating on with the, I call her multiple girl. I forget her name.
Duplicate.
Duplicate.
And then they kept calling her Kate, which I thought was cute.
That is cute. Yeah. And the fact that it's like Rex will never give up. He keeps going after it. And even Robot actually approaches him. It's like, you need to learn to separate your social life with being a hero. And it's weird. It's just the fact that it's like, and how pervy he was when he goes, well, she's like 14. And I'm like, oh my God, really? So nasty. He goes, I know she's older, but it looks like it live out a fantasy or something. And I'm like, oh my God, really? They did do that?
Yeah, he is just gross.
Yep. And he comes up with a lot of interesting catchphrases and quotes.
Yeah.
So you're number 3?
My number 3 is kind of goes. I was trying to do stuff that goes through all the episodes instead of necessarily one specific thing from each one. But
Yeah.
The dating that's going on, I found it very interesting. All the different, even
Yeah.
so, Rex and Eve, and which is not going well anymore.
No. Well, they're
They're
done if you think about it. And then Eve winds up like looking at Mark and being interested, and at that point he's involved with this other girl,
and
who's a regular normie at school.
Yeah, Amber is cool. She's way too cool for high school.
She's way too cool for him, I think. Yeah, the fact that it's like, oh, let me buy you this. Oh, it's out of my price range. Oh, let me get you a rice separator. What does that do?
But that was adorable. He's adorable. And I think the whole teenage puppy love thing is super cute.
Yeah, I think he's out of his league with
Oh,
Amber.
100%.
I think he was, and I think there's some sort of ulterior, motive that Amber has to be with him for some strange reason. I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe it's some sort of high school thing where they.
I think she thinks he's cute. I've definitely dated guys where I've been I felt maybe a touch out of their league, but they were just so cute and awkward and whatever. It was endearing. I think Mark is adorable. I think he's if I were in high school with Mark, I would have a crush on him.
Aw.
He's a little goofy. He doesn't know his geography at all.
He's still innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And I think she finds that the fact that it's I love how his friend's you gotta get rid of all the comics. He throws them out, throws everything out, including the garbage pail.
But then he ends up showing her comics right away.
Yeah, and it's just him being him and just his love of things. So, and it worked out. And then but unfortunately, he leaves her there in the room for an hour while he's out there battling.
Yeah, he's got to slip up in the next episode or two and end up telling her what's actually going on.
Yeah, all because Cecil had to grab him for a mission.
Yeah.
So you're number 3?
That was my number 3, too.
Oh.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on to my number 3, I guess. Whew. Well, Mark's attempts to be a hero while his father is in the hospital and happens to, upon the teen team, and then he meets Adam Eve. And the funny thing is that he actually talks about it to her the next day at school. He tries to save a woman within that fight, but in the end, she winds up dying from her wounds in the same hospital that, his father is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's also new to learning how to fight on his own with the help of Eve, at least, who is voiced by Gillian Jacobs from Community fame. And, plus the scene on Mars when he kind of messes up with watching the astronauts and he's too busy looking at his phone, kind of falls asleep while he's looking at pictures of Amber. And then he notices the astronauts are gone. Then he goes, oh, crap. And he has to go find the footprints and follow it through. And then he finds the hidden place, but gets involved with the Martians. And then they have that little scuffle. They realize, oh, he's invincible, or, a superhero, or somebody. He's from a different world. They are aware of that. But the fact is that they want to execute the astronauts. So he knows he has to save them. So, and we kind of get a split scene where it's well, I can't let you. And then we don't see what happens, but you see them all running.
Yeah.
And he's able to lift and push out the shuttle for their safety, which is good. But unfortunately, we do see that one of the astronauts is infected, kind of like I said, Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for Earth.
Nope. You're number 2.
My number 2 is the voice acting was excellent.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we have a ton of actors we all know from The Walking Dead, but we also get J.K. Simmons, Seth Rogen, and a bunch of other actors. Yep, Zachary Quinto.
He makes a good robot.
Clancy Brown. Yeah, so voices that we all know.
Yeah, Carrie Payton's voice is destined to be a superhero. It's just great.
Yeah.
Teen Titans, and he is just perfect.
It sounds more like Carrie Payton than it does than Cyborg.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it works out in this case, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ross Marquand, you got Lauren Cohan, I believe, was in it too. But a lot of their characters were killed away right away. So we got a little bit of them, I think Robert Kirkman did a podcast recently with Hardwick, and he goes, "Yeah, I killed you off in this show, but I want you to come back. But well, your character's gonna get killed off, and at least this time you don't have to go through the motions. You just doing the voice." Well, he could be a little bit sneaky when it comes to that, but at least he enjoys having the same actors on for his work that it's that's being portrayed. At least at least we get them back in some sort of way. Stephen Yeun obviously is going to be continuous throughout the whole show.
And I forgot it was him, and he did such a good job.
Yeah.
And like all the voice acting, I think, is fantastic. It really sells it.
They got a big cast, and that's really what attracted to me when I first saw this. We saw the coming attraction at San Diego Comic-Con virtual. As soon as that advertisement came up, or the promo for it came up, I'm like, I'm all in. I got to watch this, and I forgot that it's going to be on this time at the same time of everything that we're covering. So I was like, okay, and then we got busy, and then on top of that, he drops 3.
Yeah.
3 at once. So I'm like, really, dude?
Well,
I
like that.
Ease us into it.
I like that, though, because I have a 3-episode rule whenever I start a new show. If I'm not into it at the end of 3 episodes, then I'm...
Yeah.
But I give everything 3 episodes, unless it's really atrocious. But
it makes sense.
So I like that they dropped 3, because I got to make my decision right away as if I was continuing. And I am continuing, because this is really good.
Yeah, it is. And we're on to what, number 1?
I think we're on to number 1.
What's your number 1?
Oh,
no, actually, we're on number 2, aren't we? Yeah, we're on.
We're on number 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that was my number 2. Your number 2.
Oh, my number 2.
There we go. That's what we got.
I can't count. Well, Mark being young and his powers developing within this show, as we've seen so far, so his father tried to train him on using them, but he's a bit hard on him. He's really hard on him, and I love the banter and play between father and son.
Yeah,
it's like, you beat me to this. I forget which mountain it was. Was it Kilimanjaro or something? I forget. Everest, yeah. And he goes, "Which one is that?" "It's the biggest one." He didn't even know.
Again, he doesn't know his geography.
Yeah, the first one there has to wash the dishes for a week. And then Mark lands, and he barely lands on the mountain. His father just gets on it perfectly. But the fact is, it's like, then they wind up helping out the climber that's there.
And scaring the shit out of the climber that's there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, imagine him falling at that point. They would have to really save him at that point. And the first time when Omni-Man is actually trying to train Mark, he punches him. Gotta take a punch.
Yeah.
That was hard.
That was tough.
Yeah, and even his mother was like, "You really need to lay off."
Right?
So, but there's caring, and I think there's a lot of respect. The father wants a lot for his son, and it works because it's a father's son. Like you were saying before, you wanted your friend to watch it with his son, but no.
Nope. Never mind.
Nope. Not. But the one cool thing was him getting his suit.
Yeah.
In fact, he brings him to the same tailor that he had. He goes, "I'm getting a super suit." And then he gets the first one. He goes, "This doesn't work for me." He doesn't like the color scheme. But I love the suit shopping. That was pretty cool.
And I love the powers develop. It's not like something he was born with. They develop with him. It comes on with like puberty. So you have somewhat of a knowledge of being responsible with them instead of being like, a 7-year-old kid.
Just happening to have it.
Just happening to have it and just being a disaster.
Learning as it goes. Yeah, then we get that weird movie that was out there that was a bad Superman movie. Like the evil Superman. I forget the name. We actually did cover it. I'm forgetting the name of it, which is funny. But the fact is, like even in Smallville, we saw that. Clark developed his powers gradually, and he had to deal with them as they came.
Yeah.
At least with Mark, he was forewarned that he was going to have powers by his father. So he had that knowledge, which was really cool. And the fact that his father was there to teach him and guide him to some degree.
Yeah.
So, in other shows, we don't get that. But unfortunately, well, Omni-Man is not a great role model if we find out he's a murderer. His whole family finds out. Yeah, you just killed all these people that were guarding the world.
Right.
What was the reasoning? What was your number 1?
Well, that actually brings me to my number 1, is all the mystery that's going on. Like,
yeah,
why did Omni-Man kill them? why did he never want to be an official guardian?
Exactly.
Was he possessed or something? Because it seemed like that last scene, he seemed a little weird. So does he know he did it? Does he not know he did? We don't.
Yeah, he's still hiding something.
Yeah.
Or something's being hidden from him, but he's on the defensive all the time with Cecil and Darkblood, and he's like, I already told you what I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, you're hiding something, meaning that you do know something. Were you not in control of your own body, or was somebody else in control?
Right. That the whole mystery with him, and then also with Robot and Cecil. What is going on there? What is that thing in the big tube? The baby Jabba looking thing? What is that?
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that,
that other character that they broke out of jail, where is he going to come into play?
Yeah, Robot just let him go.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, it makes me think, wow, there's something else that's behind the scenes that we're not seeing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure by the end of the season we'll get all the answers.
Yeah.
Which would be cool.
But I like that there's a mystery to keep you going. It's not just, bad guy of the week or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, pretty much, if you think about it, it was bad guy of the week at one point with the Flaxens constantly coming back. And then you got the two blue guys and them complaining, it's like, you're the clone. No, you're the clone. And then he destroys the clone. He goes, yeah, you're the clone. And then he makes another one.
And he's obviously part of Robot's plan somehow.
Exactly.
Whatever it is Robot's up to.
Yeah, maybe they're the Legion of Doom. Who knows? Well, my number one will be, of course, as brutal as it was, that scene at the end of the first episode. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it just had my mouth drop, and I was like, okay, well, this makes me want to watch everything else now. How Omni-Man just destroys the Guardians of the Globe and gets away with it, the crushing of the brains.
The crushing of the brains, yeah. I mean,
and just using somebody else's appendage to break through somebody else's head at the same time, and
I love horror movie gore, so that was great.
Yeah, it worked out for me, but at least it was anime.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, this is cool. Kids, don't watch this.
Yeah. This is definitely a show to watch when the kids aren't bad.
Unless you're one of those parents who's just like, you can watch however you want. Oh, okay, that's cool.
And they were really little and couldn't remember, but now they're at an age where I'm not going to let them watch this.
Yeah, exactly. You give them, Alice at least another 10 years.
Yeah. She gets upset when people lie on TV shows, so I don't think she's going to deal with some head crushing very well.
All right, well, that's our top 5 on that. We're going to move on to notes. So do you have any particular notes you want to bring up?
I had one question for you.
Sure.
The kaiju that Omni-Man brought home, the squid thing, was that a real kaiju? Because you're the kaiju expert. Or was that something they just kind of made up?
It's something that they made up for the show, I believe. Yeah, it's not something I'm aware of, so it's within our own world. So that would be interesting now. I want to see how that continues.
Yeah, but I like that there's super villains and kaiju. There's just a mix of aliens and whatever.
A mix of everything.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because in the new Suicide Squad 2, at the very end, look, there's a huge kaiju. And I'm like, it looks like a starfish. What is that? So, yeah, listeners, you got to check that out, too, if you haven't checked out the trailer for Suicide Squad 2. Well, I'll start with mine. Well, Cecil, I think, is an interesting character. He just reminds me of Coulson, like in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Kind of being in control out of Marvel Comics. Oddly enough, he has powers. He could teleport. And he was the one that brought the Guardians of the Globe together, apparently, as a team. And including Omni-Man. And he's the one that knew Omni-Man beforehand. So that I found him to be an interesting character. And the fact that he's really interested in Mark at that point because he knows that, he has the same powers as his father. And I think because Omni-Man won't be controlled and wouldn't join the Guardians of the Globe, why wouldn't he join the Guardians of the Globe anyway? And that's another question. Yeah, like you were saying before, why didn't he? Omni-Man didn't do that. Right. What was the reasoning behind that? Yeah, and then he dismissed them as co-workers to his wife after the funeral, after telling the world how much he cared about them, and then he gets home and like, they were co-workers. And then, especially the speedster's wife, after, it's like, well, she did that thing at Christmas. She got really drunk. She drinks a lot. Meanwhile, he's drinking a glass of wine. Next one up for me would be Damien Darkblood. I think that's an interesting character. Clancy Brown. Highlander fame. He played the Kurgan. He voices it. Basically, he's a demon detective that when he appears, it gets cold. So that's kind of a dead giveaway. And Omni-Man caught that. Like, he knew he was in his house because he saw his breath. And same thing with Cecil. Cecil was like, oh, give me the room. And then he knew that he was there. And he talks kind of strange if you think about it.
But I would totally watch a spin-off with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like a police procedural with him. That would be awesome.
I wouldn't be surprised they do a spin-off with this show or after the show ends or anything. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirkman actually puts out like a comic based on that character, based on fandom. From what I've heard, that they're actually putting out action figures based on the actual cartoons.
Awesome.
They didn't re-release the image-based comic versions, so keep an eye out on that stuff. Next one up would be Alan the Alien, who is played by Seth Rogen. So apparently there is an assessor of the member of world candidates in the coalition of planets. He's coming to Earth for the past 15 years and battling Omni-Man. And this time it took Mark to make him figure out that he misread or understood Earth from Urath. Now, mind you, he never spoke to Omni-Man, apparently. They just beat the hell out of each other, and then, Omni-Man just beat him to go away. And all that Alan had to do is assess that they have some sort of fighter that's available to protect the Earth. But in his case, he thought it was Urath, so they're not even part of the coalition. So they're not even being acknowledged, kind of similar like Star Trek. It's like, well, there's this new planet. But I just loved the character and the scene. It was a good comic relief, too, with the situation where he's just like, here, pick up a boulder. I'm going to explain it to you.
Yeah, it was a fun scene. And then also, like, it also adds to, like, this larger world that is created, like, just how much of a universe there really is in this story.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to quotes. Do you have any quotes?
No, I totally forgot about the quotes.
That's okay. I only have a few. I thought we would go really long on this, but
apparently I don't have much to say. I did have one more. The stuff like with Robot when he was talking with everybody, trying to make them like understand, talking with everybody, like trying to have their conversation to make them more realize what they're doing. And especially when he was talking with Monster Girl, and he's like, nobody understands what's underneath, and she's like, you're a robot. What the hell do you know? I'm like, he just made you feel better. Obviously, he feels the same way you do. Stop being mean. Like, I feel like,
that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, like
and the fact it's like, I guess it's like that discrimination, right? You're a robot.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people dismissing him, and I think that might be why he's up to what.
That's where his anger is coming from, and why he's doing what he's doing.
Whatever he's up to is from that.
Well, the first quote I would have, which is pretty funny, it's Rex, of course. He goes, way to go back there, Invincible. I take back everything I said about you, and I said a lot.
that was it.
Well, the next one after that would have been, Omni-Man's your dad? The fact that they actually, because after the last battle, Alan the Assessor saying, are you using your time out? Because Mark goes, time out. And he goes, and then, Mark's like, there's a timeout? And Alan's like, yeah, it's in the rules. Like, there are rules to these engagements, apparently. Nobody knew. I guess Omni-Man had no clue.
Well, if it wasn't part of the coalition, maybe nobody had the opportunity to tell him.
And this last one I would have would be Omni-Man, and this seems like an ominous thing to say based upon what we know from the ending of the first episode, what we know of what he did. You don't seem to understand. Earth is not yours to conquer. And that's to the Flaxans before he just decimated their whole world. I'm curious if there's anything left of them within this, if they're going to come back. But yeah, so those were my quotes at that point. I'm hoping everybody else is enjoying the show as we are.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. Once episode 5 comes in, we'll go into further in depth within the actual episode on the next podcast. So, and well, with that, we're just going to move right into comic book news or comic news as a whole. And The Rock has been posting a lot about Black Adam, more and more, a little bit each day, and teasing us, especially with a script, images, things of that nature. He had something on YouTube, and I recommend it. All you have to do is go to his channel, but it's like a whole history of Black Adam, and everything associated with Shazam. So
Oh,
you're basically getting pre-promotion for the movie to get us all hyped for it, which is pretty cool.
and for people like me who don't have the background, it's nice to be able to find it in one spot.
It's fun. If you have not watched the actual Shazam movie, I would highly recommend it. It's a fun movie. You don't necessarily have to read the comics, but it kind of gives an overall backstory of Billy Batson and the story of Shazam and how he gets his powers and everything. And the very ending kind of alludes to Black Adam, which is pretty cool. So next up would be apparently Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in the next Spider-Man movie. So I'm looking forward to this highly. So it's been confirmed by a couple of sources I had. And the fact is, yep, they are filming. They might not be 100% within the film, like throughout the whole film. I think it's only a few. And that's a few scenes that would be basically to move along the multiverse of madness kind of story plot, what's going on. And obviously Doctor Strange most likely is going to be in there too.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Last up would be, well, Russell Crowe will be playing a character in Thor and Love and Thunder. So probably just a cameo of some sorts. It's been official. Marvel had to state, yes, he's in the movie, because apparently people got leaked pictures of him on set. But I think his characters could be more like Matt Damon and Sam Neill were within Thor Ragnarok when they were doing the play for Loki, when Loki was playing the father at that point, and it's like they were doing the play act of Thor and Loki, and it was pretty funny to see them because they didn't even know what they were doing at that point. So generally we go into podcast recommendations. So do you have any podcast recommendations, Jamie?
I do have podcast recommendations. I know you're awesome at giving out our friends' podcasts. So I figured I'd go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
everybody should be listening to all our friends' podcasts. One of them that I'm really liking right now is called Newsworthy. There's an episode Monday through Friday. It's 10 minutes of the news of the day. Like, it's quick. So you know what's going on without being like inundated with all the bad news, and there's good news and stuff mixed in. And sometimes
that's the benefit to that.
Yeah, and sometimes comic booky stuff. And then on Saturdays they do another like 15-minute episode about one topic, and it could be something as and it could be something like really simple, like, you know, top vacation spot, or it could be something heavier like a Black Lives Matter, but they'll take two sides of it.
They're biased, so they stay in between.
Yeah, they stay in between.
You just get both sides of the story. That's cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I like knowing what's going on in the world, but I don't have the time to like read everything, and two, I don't, watching the news, a lot of it's just too sad. So this podcast, I think, is a nice balance, and you get to know what's going on. If there's something you want to look more into, you can, but it's just like a quick hit of what's going on in the world that day.
That's pretty cool. It's basically you get a lot of the good, a lot, and the bad. It's equal. You're not just getting all bad news.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants that.
No, it doesn't make you crazy.
But I just hope that they give you. It's like, hey, what do you want to hear first? The good news or the bad
They
news?
generally end on a good note.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
That leaves you off in a good note. That's a good point.
They'll start with the biggest story and then work their way down. And they'll do things like, comic book casting sometimes. Like they'll put in some
popular stuff in media. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's the Newsworthy. And then the other podcast that I have been listening to forever is the No Sleep podcast.
Okay.
There's a Reddit thread called No Sleep, which is a bunch of supposedly real horror stories. And years and years ago, somebody started making a podcast out of some of the more popular stories on the thread. And then this podcast has now become ridiculously popular, very professionally done. And it's out, they come out with episodes on Sunday. It's free for like 3 stories, or you can pay, which I haven't done in a while. I used to subscribe, but I don't right now. And you can pay, I think it's $15 for a season, and you get a longer episode and some bonus episodes. But it's ghost stories and horror stories, and those are things I like. And they're usually, like I said, it's really well done. It's really professional, and the stories are usually really good.
That's cool. Yeah. And it helps you when you have no sleep.
Right. When the baby woke up at 2 a.m. again.
Oh boy. It's like, here, hold on, I'm holding you.
Yep.
At least I'm listening to this.
Well, then put the earbud in. I don't let him.
Oh, I know that. All right, the only one I have to recommend, obviously, all you listeners know, Run for Your Lives with Daphne and Paige, and they have their episodes. Their episode is coming up soon about the train to Busan, so they're covering that particular movie. So I look forward to hearing them talk about that movie. I found it really interesting. It's a movie I highly recommend that you watch with the subtitles. Do not watch it with the dubbed version.
Never the dubbed.
Never. So they can be found on the Pyrocore Entertainment Network, so check them out. And with that, we'll move into YouTube recommendations. So I see that you have a couple too that are different.
Yeah. Quarantine Kitchen with Alton Brown on Tuesday nights. That's pretty much the only thing I watch on YouTube right now that's not my daughter's choice.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's the struggles of being a parent in this day and age with media. You're always tied to whatever the kids watch, but sometimes at night. But this probably helps you out in the kitchen too to play around with like new meals and new dishes, right?
I mean, it's not like a super how-to. Like Alton Brown, I've always loved him. He did the show Good Eat, the Food Network, for years, which is a very science-based cooking show.
Yeah.
So when we went into quarantine a year ago, he and his wife decided, like a whole lot of other creative people, that they were going to throw something out there for the world. And they started this quarantine kitchen, or it's Quitchen. They actually use a Q-U to be cute and call it QQ. And I just started watching it with them. And it's so funny that like this professional chef who has had multiple TV shows, he opens up his fridge and he finds a carton of eggs that expired 7 months ago. Like, it makes you feel so much better about what's in your kitchen and the status of everything.
They're the same as us.
Yeah.
They have the same issues. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he makes use of those eggs, or does he throw them away?
He tried and then decided to throw them away. But because they usually start with a cocktail and they show you how to make the cocktail and then they make the dinner. And it goes in and out of as to how well you can follow the dinner, because depending on how strong the cocktail was.
That's pretty cool. My friend does a similar thing. He does it on Facebook and on Instagram. He is a bartender. He was a teacher he's a retired teacher now, but he's a bartender normally. But since the bars are closed and there's certain bars are not open, he's only going in every once in a while. So he'll do his quarantine drinks.
That's cool.
So if you listeners out there, if you want to go look at Jeff Enrage or Jeff Altieri, he's out there doing his own thing too. So yeah, it's kind of similar to what you're talking about, but in this case, it's all different mixed drinks, and they're all experimental. And there have been a few where they've been bad, but it's pretty fun to watch him go through all that stuff, and he's very entertaining. So check out Jeff Enrage if you can. If you can find him on Facebook, I'm pretty sure you can find his videos. And with YouTube, well, with me, the Grim Life Collective, they're back. They've been putting out a lot of content since Michael and Jessica moved out to California. So they've been doing a lot of movie locations. Just recently, they went to the Roadhouse where Jim Morrison used to hang out. So they went to that area and location to see where Jim used to hang out. They went to a couple of grave sites of celebrities. Vampiro is one of them. So check them out. But they are coming back this week with their Up All Night with the Grims, where they do a movie watch-along party.
Oh, that's cool.
So you could watch, the movies are free on YouTube, so you would have to watch it on one device, and then you could interact with them, or you could just interact with them, because usually it winds up becoming like a conversation while, you communicate through text, through YouTube, like through the message board. So you could do that and have fun. They have interesting ones coming up. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. I think they're doing Bram Stoker's Dracula this week for Jessica's birthday. So, and lastly would be The Thing with Two Heads with Sean Clark and Chris. And they've been building a huge, great fan base within the horror community. And they bring on a lot of celebrity guests on occasion. And Chris talks about, film locations that he's been on as being an effects artist. Him being on the new Halloween movie that's out that he did effects for. And we get to see a few interesting things that he develops and brings up. Yeah. So check them out.
Yeah, that sounds like something I'd like. I think I'm going to check that one out.
Yeah, they have the podcast too, which is all audio based, but they do. I think they were going to get John Atkins from The Fog and what was the other movie? Oh, Halloween 3. So he might be on too at one point. Sean's good friends with him. They actually went to the Halloween 3 locations as well as Creepshow locations for Horror's Hallowed Grounds, which you could actually find on YouTube too.
Oh, that's cool.
So check them out if you can. So with that, well, the way you could submit your feedback, you could just go to our Facebook group, which would be Panels to Pixels. Well, it would be facebook.com/Panels to Pixels. Or you could just leave us an email, and that would be at panelstopixels1@gmail.com. And that's panels, 2 spelled out TO, and pixels, and the number 1@gmail.com. So just send a regular email. If you want to record your voice as feedback and send it, we'll play it, we'll listen to it, we'll give you a comment on it. And just like that with the Facebook page, we'll always leave an image, and you just leave a comment below the image of what we're covering, and we'll read that as well. So you could find us on YouTube as well, and all you have to do is search Panels to Pixels Podcast. And if you're there, subscribe if you're really liking the content, and give us a thumbs up if you like the episode. We really appreciate that. So where else can listeners hear us? Well, with me, I could be heard right here on Panels to Pixels on the Next Level Podcast Network. And you could also hear me on my other podcast, which would be Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. And that could be found on the Pyrocore Entertainment Network. And there I cover action movies, adventure movies, suspense, and thriller movies. So I know I've been behind. Work got in the way, so life always finds a way. So this week, you'll have Highlander, and it'll be up, so you could hear me and Steve cover Highlander. After that, I'm hoping to move on to Face Off with Ben Beck, who is actually on this network, and you could hear him on the Lost We Have to Go Back Revisited podcast.
You and Steve and you and Ben are great together.
Everybody, we've gotten a lot of feedback about that. People have fun listening to us. So yeah, we'll be covering that, and then after that, I'm hoping that we could get John Wick 2 with Kat. I kind of got delayed because a lot of things happened in Kat's life recently. So we're hoping that she could jump on, and we'll continue on with that. So Jamie, this was your first podcast.
Yes, my first ever podcast.
And I want to thank you for being on, and you did great. So I just wanted to thank you for being on. I hope you're going to be on next week when we do number 5.
I will be on next week when we do number 5.
There you go. You heard it here, listeners. He's going to be back. So if you have any questions, anything you want to say to us, just send them in an email or just go to our Facebook group and just leave them in the comments. So with that, that's our show today. And I just want to thank everybody for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Jamie.
And this was Panels to Pixels. And we'll see you on the next panel. And we'll talk to you soon. Good day.
Bye.